Reporting to you live from the Warrior's Path, this is Xochitl Bernadette Moreno. January 1st, 2012. Oscar Grant Plaza. Since Oscar Grant was murdered by police on an Oakland, California BART subway platform 3 years ago, Oakland residents impacted by police brutality and the prison industrial complex have been catalyzed into action. Courageous acts of standing up in the face of repression and saying, "Hear me." Today, on the streets of Oakland, as people gather, chant, rally, and march down the Warrior's Path for justice, we are here to talk about those courageous acts and to find out more about the solutions these community warriors are taking. Here I am joined by Sheikh Anderson. He's an activist, a musician, and a member of the community here in Oakland. And Sheikh, I want to ask you, since the death of Oscar Grant, what were some of the different organizing models that folks in Oakland used to come together and stand up against police brutality?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for granting this interview or allowing me to interview with Warrior Spirit. Since Oscar Grant, has been several marches and rallies in relation to the Measley trial. One, it was to actually get him to trial.
And can you talk about who Johannes Messerly is?
Well, he was the police officer that killed or murdered Oscar Grant on the at the Fruitvale BART 3 years ago. Would be tomorrow on the platform while he was handcuffed. And at the time, the first march was to bring light to. The rally was actually right here. I was there at Oscar Grant Plaza.
Here in Oscar Grant Plaza in downtown Oakland around 14th and Broadway, right?
Yes, I was here, and it really ignited me to my point of activism. Like, I've always been an artist, always been a creative person, but it resonated with my spirit very strongly. So when they had the beginning of the march started here, and it was the energy of the people, they organized to say, hey, look, we no longer are going to take this brutality. I mean, it was quite obvious in how in which Oscar Grant was murdered that it was not a violent act. He was not attacking the police. It was caught on videotape, and it impacted community to the heart, because everybody realized that could be my son, that could be my brother, that could be anybody. It wasn't a mistake. It couldn't have been a mistake. It was a act carried out by a police officer, and that's what ignited the people.
And can you talk about, after this ignition took place, what were some of the things that people were doing? So in the days after, there were marches in the streets, as you talk about. There were folks, making speeches, making chants, screaming to the world, hey, there's something happening here in Oakland, and it's not just happening today, it happens often. Can you talk about what some of those different actions were that people were taking?
Well, the first thing people do, in my opinion, when they get angry, they shout out, they yell, they get mad, and they express themselves. When that anger through voice doesn't get heard, then they go more into what I call like an artist revolutionary act. The activism is saying, okay, I'm gonna paint this banner. I'm gonna make a flyer. I'm gonna do something, and I'm gonna share it with people. And that's what happens when people get organized. They begin to do things creative to let other people know, and that's the beauty of it. Because once somebody knows it's right in their heart, that's where art comes from. That's where your creativity comes from. You feel activated. Like myself, I do video work also. Before the Measley verdict, I did a video that got a lot of attention. It had too short in it because I had the footage, and I basically, basically put that together, and I did a non-resistance video, because I'm about self-defense, but I don't believe that we need to attack anyone. I believe that we should defend ourselves but never attack. So I wanted people to be safe, because I knew that the initial march prior to that, it was riot police came out, and it was designed for the people to create a chaos. And when we didn't, I didn't want to I didn't want it to be a repeat. So the answer to the question is creativity generally comes out of any kind of action. Once the anger subsides and you still have that energy, then use it in creative fashion to talk to your friends, to create to draw a painting, to create a sign, to create a banner. You know what I mean? To get your people together, it instantly creates a community, and that's what is the fear of the system, is that we get to talk to each other because we have a common goal. And what the relation between Oscar Grant, the murder and trial, and the Occupy movement is it gives everyone a common point to say, you know what, now we have a reason to talk to each other. We might not have had one based upon classism or racism or education, or we might have had nothing in common, so to speak, but we all do. But now we know we have something in common because we know we're going through the same burden, we're going through the same system. We still burdened every day by money in the banks and how our money is being used or being distributed. And because of that, people are poor, they're homeless, and we're tired of it. We're tired of it for the people that can't talk for themselves, the mentally ill, the hungry, the homeless. We're tired of it for them. I'm tired of seeing people, when there's so much food, they still have to beg for something to eat. It makes no sense. And we're getting to a point now as a community, if one person is hungry, we're all hungry. You know what I mean? Like, it was saying in the military, like, if one is captured, we're all captured, but the union say it, if one is hurt, we're all hurt. Okay, well, I'm getting to the point where if one of us is hungry, we're all hungry. If one of us is homeless, we're all homeless. We have to take care of each other in humanity as an overall society and not limit ourselves by the system saying that, you got a good job. You just watch your television, go to home, go to work, and you don't have to deal with this. We'll take care of it for you. But the truth is they're making it so that you lose that job. You're just like the people they're supposed to be taking care of it for you. So we have to realize that we're all one. And anything that's stopping the community is actually stopping you. So that's why I'm here, because I know that this is a community. I feel safe here, safer than I've always felt safe in Oakland. I'm from here. But the community and the love I get is like a liken to family, if not more. I feel the love every time I'm here, and that's addictive, and that's the right addiction for humanity.
Well, that's beautiful. And Chick, I really have to commend you for being a community warrior on the path for justice. I'd say that, here at the Warriors Path, we're all about highlighting the solutions that people are bringing forward to these crazy challenges that life throws at us. And here, as I look around Oscar Grant Plaza, which, just a few weeks ago was filled with tents and people with the Occupy movement, and I see, the remainders of what was that encampment. But what I can still feel is that sense of community and that sense of spirit that does seem to be alive here in this place that is Oscar Grant Plaza, and just speaking about these creative tactics and these creative ways to resist state oppression and the many problems that you just threw out there. Can you talk about this idea of like reclaiming by renaming, and how folks have renamed Oscar Grant Plaza, how Fruitvale Bart is called Oscar Grant Bart, and can you talk about what it means to use the power of word to reclaim ourselves and our community?
The anonymous movement, the online movement says we do not forget. You know what I mean? And that's what Oscar Grant Plaza is saying. We will not forget. There's a lot of black males that get killed with no press because there's no cameras. So when we say Oscar Grant, we're saying that for every black male or every person that gets murdered by the police and covered up with paperwork, they actually have a budget to murder people. They get away with it because they know if it goes to civil court, they can afford it. That means that no one individual murderer, cop, that does it can feel any responsibility because he has a whole system backing up his actions. And that is incorrect. We live in a society where we have enough that we don't have to create the scarcity, nor do we have to kill anybody. And for someone to be paid by our taxes to actually be able to carry out a murder, and even if it's a mistake, because if I mistakenly shot someone, I would be involuntary manslaughter. So therefore, for someone to continue, the system continue to support this behavior, not dismiss it, But to condone it and support it is something why people became ignited. To reclaim, when you reclaim something or you rename it, is to give that community a sense of say, this is what we're here for. Now, much love and respect to Frank Ogawa. He was a world citizen. No disrespect to his legacy and what he's done, what he did for Oakland with the Japanese community. It's commendable and it should be stated at all times because he was an activist, a world citizen also. But in 2011 and 2009 when he got shot, it became clear that this is something we have to express. You know what I mean? And a lot of times for Oscar Grant, Frank Ogawa Plaza, it's not the semantics of the name doesn't bother me. It's that it's symbolic to say that this is for police repression. This is for the people that have been killed. And I guarantee you Frank Ogawa, if he was alive, would support what we're doing here. It's not, we're not separating and we're not dismissing anything. We're saying that this is what it is now and this is what we have to fight against. If we allow this behavior to go on, if we allow the banks to control us, if we allow police to continue to kill our young men, what kind of world are we living in? It's not okay. Death is not a news blurb. You feel me? Death is something that is not, if it's not, it happens, but it should not be committed. It's something that, it's transition for me. I understand what death is. It's transition. However, when it's someone's life is taken, that spirit has to deal with that. And I feel like when Oscar Grant was taken, his spirit didn't understand why he died. He didn't understand that if I go out on New Year's Eve and I party with my friends on New Year's Day, you know what I mean? Why didn't I go home to my woman and my child? You know what I'm saying? Like, so his spirit was pissed. So he was in every young man's ear, like, do something, to the point in which we all had to do something. We didn't feel right. We don't feel right unless something is being done. And that just transferred. 3 years later, Oakland doing exactly what we're doing now, the energy is now transferred to an overall movement to say not only are you killing us, you're making it easy for us to die by not giving us homes, by not giving us food, by not allowing us to even get it ourselves. I mean, not even of making the natural resources available for us to take care of ourselves. This world is self-sustaining. You don't see any birds, animals running around talking about I'm hungry, even in the inner city. So why, when the natural environment can still sustain itself in a society, why can't people do it? Tell me, why do we have all these resources? We have all this abundance on this planet, but yet and still there's made to be scarcity. So people are starving to death, which makes no sense when people are obese. It makes no sense. You can say, we don't have it, they don't have the means. No, the means aren't provided, but they want us to eat each other, to eat ourselves to death. Feel me? While in the rest of the world, they want them to starve to death. If we could go on space and we could see the whole world, that means we have an idea of all the world's resources. If we have planes that could travel across the world, jets that can go around the world in less than 8 hours, why can't we drop off food, or why can't we provide resources to people in the world that need it? You know what I mean? Why do we spend billions of dollars on a military-industrial complex that we already control the world? So what are we doing? Now we're controlling the people and telling them what they can't and can't have, and I think it's ridiculous, and I think it needs to change.
Well, thank you for your words. Thank you for your words. And, as we look to the days ahead with this idea and this spirit that you bring forward of how do we create that change and how do we live it? And, I'm just inspired by the footsteps of everybody who's walked down the streets of Oakland, by, the sawing of a banner that's going on right beside us, by the folks who are here serving food. Exactly. And, and I wonder, what can we continue to do that we're not already doing to help this movement and this sense of community spread outside where it already is? I feel that many members of our community are still, impacted by these problems 24/7, and maybe they don't feel like they have a place here in the movement. So my question to you is, how do we speak to those around us in a way to extend community and in a way to continue to implement the solutions to things like police brutality, to things like state oppression, to things like capitalism, and how do we, really truly come together and believe that there is a place, there is a seat, there is a space for everybody, even if you're, deep in the hood, or if you're cleaning houses in the Mission, or if you're, working on the top of a building, or whatever it is that you're doing, that you have a place here.
Well, the first thing is you have to realize that you already have a community. You already have a place. You already doing it for yourself and your family. Extend that love. Just extend the love to everybody, and then realize that we're all one. What I say is that if you have what you would call extra, donate that. If you feel like if you're hungry one day and you just want to see, come down. If you have a question about what's going on with Occupy, or what's going on in your community, express that to the people that's here. We have a general assembly process. We do 3-4 times a week. That you have the ability to actually come down and write a proposal and present it to the facilitation committee, and then we can vote on it and decide what we want to do as an overall community. That means you have initially the support of the community.
And where do those meetings take place, and how could folks come and get involved?
Well, the meetings take place at Oscar Grant Plaza, Franklin Galvin Plaza, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. And this is the time where you can come vote on proposals that will be presented by the people. No government.
Okay, but I'm going to just bust in here. So for somebody who says, but I don't even know what this proposal process is, or I don't even know if I have something to propose, I just want to, hear a little bit more. And maybe they might feel as though all of these concepts are a little bit,
well, on the ground,
not having to do with their lives.
Well, if you pay rent, then it's part of your life. If you eat, it's part of your life. If you talk to several people in your community, or you're worried about crime, it's part of your life. There's a reason why people steal, because they're hungry, or they have no opportunity to get a job. Or they might have an addiction, or they might have a mental illness. Okay, instead of being afraid of these people, become part of the community where we can help identify these people and help them. If you're afraid, then you stay in your house and watch TV and believe the lies that have been told to you. You have to leave your house. It's natural to be amongst people. It's natural to be outside. It's about developing a community. And working and meeting people within that community. We have a common bond. We all need to eat. We all need shelter. We all need a community. We need to share our ideas. When you come up with an idea, share the idea. If you just want to just see what's going on, just come down and talk to people. If you feel like you have enough, make a plate, make a dish, and bring it down, and give it to the people. It's like this. The concept of homeless needs to be reevaluated. You cannot be homeless on a planet that sustains everything. So that what means is that the shelter is an issue. So who controls the shelter? The banks control the shelter. So therefore, we need to do something about the shelter. So if you're part of the community and you already have shelter, maybe you need to make sure or help people that might not have shelter. It's an extending the love. That's what my main thing is, take the love that you have for your family, your mother, father, sister, brother, your son and your daughter, and extend that to the world. You know what I mean? It's just like you might have a brother that you know better to lend money to. Well, don't be naive. You know what I mean? But however, if you know that you can help them out with food, want to do that. Extend your love past your general family unit and extend it to everybody else, and you'll realize that you'll get 10 times in return back.
Well, again, Sheikh, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the Warrior's Path, to share your words and to join in this unification process that we're undergoing as a society. And
it is a process. It is a process. This is not going to happen overnight. We've been conditioned to be in greed and scarcity. We've been conditioned to emulate the people that control us, but we're nothing like them, because they don't have a desire to help, or they don't even have the same needs as you. So therefore, if you don't look at the people and say, okay, they have the same need, I can't aspire. I'm not going to go for the $1 billion. You know what I mean? I just want to help the people around me, and then you instantly become rich. You instantly become valuable. I'm valuable because I'm here and they know my skill level. So therefore, they say, no, Shay can do that. I mean, that's valuable. There's so many skills that I've had in my life because I'm prior military and just video, all types of things I've done. They don't get fully utilized until I have a community that I can share it with. I can sit at home and be a genius. I could be a genius. You can be too, but it's not nothing until you share it with somebody. So they can say that's a good idea. We should all do that, and it'd be a benefit to benefit humanity. We should all share ideas, not to get profit. Profit doesn't do anything but create scarcity. The more money you have in the bank, the less someone else has. Like we have to put direct relation into how what you don't have, what you have, is create scarcity for someone else. If I'm eating myself to death, there's someone starving because of this. In direct relation. So we should to close it. We should create the community that we want to have and extend our love to everyone and realize that the more that we hold back, the more that we're holding ourselves, not the people around us. We have to show our love to everybody, and we have to do our natural talent, what's in our heart. This protest allows everyone here to be an artist, and that's the main purpose. You become an artist. You become more creative because no one tells you what to do, and you feel energy to do something. If you want to help create a banner, come down here and help create a banner. So it's all love.
And just before we let you go, I do understand that you're an artist, that you're a spoken word and musical artist. How could people, learn a little bit more about your artwork? And do you perhaps feel like you could just give us a quick little taste?
Okay. Yes. You can Shake 9169. You could Google that. Shake Anderson on Facebook. Shake 9169 on Twitter. I do a piece called Slice of Slavery. Allow me to punch in, clock in, sign in so I can speak to you on my time and describe a slice of slavery. Honestly, I want management to hate me. So if you in the system listen, you can't manage someone who sees through your system. You're not paying me enough, so pay attention to these words. Slave is eval spelled backwards, so take this poem and put it in my slave report. Eyes don't need to know how I'm doing on your field. Your documents and comments are irrelevant, and your attempt to destroy me only insults my intelligence. For those that don't know, let me pull your coat. A JOB stands for just over broke, and your job might be the subject of sensitivity, but they selling you the same slice of slavery they sold to me. Security? I'm not buying it. How many people you know go to work right after retirement? And the response to this poem should only be lukewarm, like, take off these shackles, put on this uniform. You could talk all you want, but we're going to teach you what to say. And don't be late. You only got 8 hours to brainwash you every day. Don't worry about a whip. It's illegal. And plus, to slow down production, so we need you to be alert. So we just going to intimidate you with paperwork. And when a slave gets promoted on a plantation, they don't know how to act. They crack the whip just to forget about the whips on their back. So enjoy your days on the plantation where cooning for the system is your only option. But that's not the career for me. I was going to find freedom for me. You could have your secure slice of slavery. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Sheikh, and look forward to walking with you on the warrior's path for justice.
Yes.
Peace.